What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be ranking every superhero movie that came out this year. Now this year was a crazy year for superhero films. We had 9 in total, which is pretty crazy. I think that's the most we've ever had by far. So I got quite a bit to rank. So let's just get into it. So yeah, coming in at number 9 is Venom. Now I did enjoy the movie, kinda. It's a funny movie, but I don't think it's supposed to be funny. It's just not a good movie. It's not well made at all. It's very cringy at times, but I enjoyed watching it. It's more of a guilty pleasure in my book. It's a bad movie, but I loved the movie because it was so bad, it was funny, and Tom Hardy seemed like he was having a good time at playing Venom. And for me, that was easily the best part of the movie. The dynamic between Venom and Eddie Brock was so enjoyable to watch, and I just loved their dynamic in the movie and all of their dialogue in the movie, even though at times it was pretty cringy, but I still really enjoyed that part of the movie. But besides that, this movie just really lacks everything else. It's just not a good villain played by Riz Ahmed. It's just really a mess of a movie, but it's an enjoyable mess, and that's why it's coming in at number 9. So coming in at number 8 is Teen Titans Go. Now I'll be honest, this movie surprised me. I was not expecting it to like this movie at all, but I really do like this movie. It is a funny film. Like, I laughed hard multiple times out loud in this movie, and it's just a very funny movie. There's a bunch of meta humor, and I really enjoyed myself with this movie. I was shocked that I did. This movie even has a Stan Lee cameo in it. Yeah, that's just how meta this movie is. But my big complaint with the movie is it's just not clever. It's not clever humor, or it's not smart humor. There are times where it's very dumb. But to be fair, this movie is made for kids, so I do understand that. But it's just not clever enough, and I wanted more like Lego Movie type of humor, because there definitely is humor like that, and I enjoyed all of that humor in this movie. I just wish it was clever, and that is why it is coming in at number 8. Yes, so coming in at number 7 is The Incredibles 2, which may come to a shock to a lot of you guys, because I know that this is higher up on pretty much everyone else's list. For me, I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. It's a fun movie. Kids are going to love it. I just had a lot of story problems, and the villain in the movie, it's just a very cliche and basic villain and a very predictable plot. But just because I had problems with the movie, that doesn't mean I didn't like this movie. I liked it a lot. It was very enjoyable. I had a ton of fun in the movie. Jack, I mean, come on. Obviously so cute in the movie. It's a very enjoyable movie that I do have a couple problems with. It definitely doesn't compare to the original Incredibles. I think that is way more incredible. No pun intended. Actually, pun intended. But yeah, The Incredibles 2 is a fun time at the theaters. I just have a couple flaws with the movie, and that is why it is coming in at number 7. So coming in at number 6 is Deadpool 2. Now, this movie is weird because I think this movie has a lot of problems with it, but I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It is a very, very funny movie, but that is to be expected because it is Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds, my goodness, that man was born to be Deadpool. I forgive him for X-Men Origins. He's an incredible Deadpool. Again, I did have quite a bit of problems with the movie. The pacing was just all over at time. In the story in the movie, I don't know, I just didn't really care for the story. But it's a Deadpool movie. It was funny, it was hilarious, and at the end of the day, that's really all I want from a Deadpool movie. I enjoyed watching it, but for me, it doesn't come close to the original Deadpool. That movie is fantastic on all levels. This movie definitely had problems, and that is why it is coming in at number 6. So coming in at number 5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, once again, really enjoyed this movie. And this movie, I really don't have any problems with the movie. It's just a solid film all around. I guess my only problem with the movie, it's just that's it. It's a solid film. There's nothing great in the movie. It didn't really have that thing that really pushed it to greatness. But at the end of the day, Ant-Man and the Wasp is another solid film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I really enjoyed it. And obviously, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man is just amazing. I mean, he's hilarious as Ant-Man, and I really enjoyed the Wasp in this movie as well. And something else that this movie got right is the villain in Ghost. Ghost, honestly, was a perfect villain for this movie. Now, she really wasn't a threat to the world or anything. She was just a pretty small villain. All she needed was an item that Ant-Man had in order to save herself, and she was a villain that I really just enjoyed, and I really understood where she was coming from, and she was a perfect villain for the movie. But anyways, that is why Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming in at number 5. So yes, Aquaman is my number 4. Now, to be honest, I do think Ant-Man and the Wasp is the more solid film all around it, because I don't really have too much problems with that movie. And this movie, I definitely have problems with. It definitely has pacing issues, especially in the first half. The first half is definitely not like the second half in this movie, but I enjoyed this movie so much more. It was a ton of fun, and the action in the movie is incredible. James Wan directed the hell out of this movie. The action is beautifully shot with long takes, well choreographed action, and wide shots. Action in it is amazing, and that's why I love this so much. It's kind of a throwback to like an old epic, kind of like Gladiator, and I just really enjoyed the movie a lot more, even though I definitely do have problems with it. It's just an enjoyable film, and Jason Momoa is obviously amazing as Aquaman. He really took this character and kind of put his own spin on it, and I was entertained through the entire runtime, and that's why Aquaman is coming in at number 4. So yes, coming in at number 3 is Black Panther. Now, the fact that this movie is coming in at number 3 just tells you how good of a year Marvel had. This movie is incredible. It is easily one of the most well-made superhero films ever. Black Panther is a game-changing film, not just like as a superhero film, but like this movie made insane amount of money. Like, I think it made more than Infinity War here in the States. That's insane. Like, this movie is incredible. And Killmonger is honestly easily one of the greatest villains ever. He was an absolutely perfect villain. I mean, you really understood his character. Part of me honestly was kind of going for him in this movie, just because, like, yes, he was right. Wakanda should have been helping throughout everything. Killmonger was right, and you really understood him, and his character in the movie was phenomenal, and Michael B. Jordan killed it, and obviously Black Panther in the movie is also phenomenal. This entire movie is just phenomenal. The only problem I have with the movie is the action in the movie. It's just a bit choppy, which I don't really understand why, because Ryan Coogler did direct this movie, and he's been known in the past to have great fighting scenes, but the action in this movie just definitely fell flat for me. But besides that, this movie is incredible, and I absolutely loved it, and that is why it is my 3rd superhero film of 2018. So now we are down to my top 2. Both of these films I absolutely adored, and it was really hard to put one over the other, but I had to choose, so let's see what comes in at number 2. So yeah, this may surprise people that this is my number 2, because if you saw my review for it, I praised this movie. I gave it my highest grade of an A+, and I called it a groundbreaking film in animation, and trust me, I stand by all of that. This movie is a groundbreaking film, and it definitely is an A+, and this is my favorite animated film of all time. And this is the most well-made film and the best film on this list. The only reason why it's not number 1, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what is number 1, just because I enjoyed that film a bit more, and it just means a lot more to me. So I did put that film at number 1, but this is the best movie on this list. This movie is incredible. I absolutely adored this movie from beginning to end. It is beyond perfection in my opinion. It's just incredible. I loved the entire story. It is great storytelling. It is hilarious. It's funny. It's emotional. It's everything I could want in an animation movie. It's innovative, and the voice cast was amazing. And this movie was full of surprises. I really adored this movie, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had watching a movie. And yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a masterpiece, and it is the best film on this list, but it's not my favorite, and that is why it's coming in at number 2. So that is right, Avengers Infinity War is my number 1 superhero film of 2018. I guess that's not shocking, because that's probably a lot of people's, but it came down to what film am I going to watch the most in my life? And I'm going to watch this film until the day I die. This is an experience. I love this movie. Now sure, this movie definitely has problems. I do have problems with the movie, but a lot of those problems are pacing issues, especially in the first half. But that's to be expected when you have so many main characters in this movie. This movie is huge. It is full of like main superheroes, and just to have a couple pacing issues, that's to be expected. And the fact that Marvel pulled this off is why it's not my number 1. This video is called Ranking Every Superhero Film of 2018. This is everything a superhero film is. Like, this is a superhero movie. Like, it truly is. This is full of superheroes. It is a true epic. This movie is ginormous, and it is an experience I will never forget. The first time I watched this on opening night with a bunch of Marvel fans in the middle of Los Angeles, it was an experience. The theater was full of laughing, crying, cheering. I mean, the theater was insane, and it was the greatest theater experience I've ever had with a movie, and this is my favorite movie of the year. I adored this movie, but I definitely do have problems with it. Like I said, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the better movie. It is the best superhero movie of 2018, but this is my favorite, and I had to put this at number 1 just because it's the Empire Strikes Back of our generation, and Marvel pulled off the impossible with this movie. 10 years ago, this movie was said to be impossible. There's no way that you can have so many main characters in a movie and have it not just be a complete mess, but Marvel did it. They actually made a full movie with like 40 some characters, and it was not a complete mess, and I loved it. It was a joy to watch, just full of wow moments, just an amazing, hilarious, emotional, just full of all of emotions. It took you on a ride, and Thanos is an amazing villain. and I cannot wait for Avengers Endgame, and that is why Avengers Infinity War is my #1 superhero film of 2018. Even though, again, I do think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a better movie, if that makes sense, but I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. But anyways, guys, that is my full ranking. Let me know down in the comments what you rank all of these movies, because I'm pretty curious. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if this is your first video of mine, consider hitting that subscribe button. I love movies, especially superhero movies, so if you like those things, consider hitting the subscribe button. It means the world to me. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.